Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So shout out to each and every one of you all, man. I am honored and humbled that you all enjoy engaging my content this much that you have come to listen to me babble 3 consecutive times now. All 3 times. Shout out to y'all, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. If you guys can hear me okay, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys cannot hear me, then please give me a thumbs down or an angry face, all right? While you guys are doing that, y'all know the routine. We're going to shout out everybody that's in the building early, all right? We got Brooklyn Queen 125 in the house. We got Patricia Slade, B1. We got Black Freethinker in the building. We got Retro Gemini 99, B1. We got Miss Nisi in the house. We got my man James Hudson tapped in. Shout out to you, bro. We got DC Precise. We got Catsy. We got Jerry Bedford. We got Deneen. Shout out to you, Deneen. We got AB Promotions. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to DSB. All right. We got my man Leonard D. Yuta in the building. All right. Yeah, 3 times. All 3 of them. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all. If y'all saw all 3 of the live streams this morning, you know what I'm saying? Put a little baby in the comment section for yourself. Hey, man, I'm just the YouTube guy. You know what I'm saying? But Mark Robinson is not. Now, we got to ask a couple questions about your boy Mark Robinson, because when I tell you that this guy is a top grade USDA circus clown, I am dead serious. This dude is shaped like a pear. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we're talking about a pear fruit or a pair of worn out shoes. This dude is out of shape, out of pocket, out of breath, and out of ammo. And I'm out of patience dealing with people like this individual. All right. So the first question that we have to ask is, what kind of parenting creates a child that grows into an adult Mark Robinson? Now, when I'm telling you about Mark Robinson, I'm telling you about an actual human poop-shaped emoji with arms and legs. You should, despite the fact that all humans technically are human excrement, you shouldn't walk around looking like fresh human excrement. But that's what Mark Robinson does. And the stuff that comes out of his mouth smells even worse. Okay? What I want to know is, how does somebody become like this? Now, shout out to y'all that watched the live stream that Kid Gravity did. I think he did a live stream with Lisa Cabrera, and they reacted to Charlie Kirk's attempted character assassination of Martin Luther King. Not bad that the man actually got assassinated. You know what I'm saying? These people want to do character assassinations now because they feel inadequate, as they should. You know what I mean? Shout out to you, Tedra. We got to ask a couple questions. Now, you guys saw that black dude that Charlie Kirk had brought on, right? You guys see all of the black people that Fox News brings on. Why do these people all sound the same? Shout out to my man Torian Rain. What's good with it? Why do these people all sound the same? Do you all notice that when it comes to Larry Elder, when it comes to Candace Owens, when it comes to Mark, that's a perfect first name for him because this dude is a Mark-ass buster. Poop emoji-shaped Robinson. Why do these people all sound the same? I thought they didn't live in an echo chamber. Now, we know that Mark Robinson spends most of his time floating in a circle around the toilet bowl. So I guess if you scream down into it, into the cyclone, I guess that's an actual echo chamber. Yeah. You guys see this? Shout out to Deneen. Now, Mark Robinson is an actual descendant of slaves, a descendant of sharecroppers. And this clown is out here cooning. When I tell you this clown is out here cooning, listen to me. He is cooning hard. He is cooning hard. It's not going to pay off. You're not going to get anything out of this except for shunned. And depend on where you go, you know what I'm saying? Some people might look at you funny, might bring some undue hardship onto yourself. You know what I'm saying? Why is there always somebody that will succumb to this kind of nonsense? See, there has to be a reason. There has to be a mechanism. There has to be a cause, man, that makes people so susceptible to the nonsense. Because this stuff that this individual is doing, this stuff that this dude is saying is absolute nonsense. Now, let me tell you something. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the large people tuxedos, something like what TD Jakes wears. This dude wears a muumuu with a button up front. Okay. He seems to me like one of those type of people that is 3 feet tall. And it don't matter if he uses an entire stick of deodorant. He is going to sweat profusely, literally while just standing there living. Living causes profuse tidal waves of sweat to pour down this dude like he's actually doing something. And he's not. Oh, yeah. Shout out to my man, the sports and political channel of LB. Absolutely. Absolutely. His Facebook posts about Martin Luther King were disgusting. They are almost as disgusting as he looks, almost as disgusting as the people that he came from. Because you have to be disgusting people to produce another person like this. Now, if they're not disgusting people and I'm speaking out of term, then my apologies. But in most cases, that's usually how that works. What would be his motivation for coming after Dr. Martin Luther King? Dr. Martin Luther King is one of the main reasons why he's able to be the clown that he is. See, many people choose to be productive members of society. Some people choose to be criminals. Some people choose to be athletes. But this dude decided to be a poop emoji wrapped in a button-up tarp. He chose that. Yeah, he's wearing a button-down muumuu. You guys ever seen how when you have a car and it's out of season for the car that you drive, you know, you got something nice like a Camaro or a Corvette, and you put the big giant sheet over the car. He wears one of those sheets, a custom-made one for a Mark Robinson XL. Wallow J said he can't hold on to money good at all. I'll tell you one thing he can hold on to: some trans fat. You know how your parents say, I'm gonna cook you something that sticks to your bones? Homeboy built different. Seemed like every damn thing sticks to his bones. You know what I'm saying? Now we're gonna listen to what this idiot decided to come out and say. MLK was an inferior pastor and a communist. Said top GOP candidate for North Carolina governor. Why do all these people in the GOP all sound the same? And why do many of the black GOP members come out and try to attempt to say the most egregious things about other black people? Why is that? Why is that? See, there's something to all of this. Let me ask you guys a question. Does the GOP have a behavior code for its black members? It would be harder for me to believe that they had a behavior code if they all didn't act alike. But they all act alike. They all act in the same shameful way. So I'm just trying to figure this out. The fact that these people recruit all of these defective individuals that all sound the same, it literally shows the kind of cowardice that these people are. Now, the title of this live stream, it may be kind of complicated, but I want to break the title down because the title is important. Okay? If you hold the tool, you are using it for your project. Mark Robinson, Embarrassment and Tool. And you know what? Depending on how the YouTube, direct deposit is looking on the 21st, I may make him an official certificate of being an embarrassment and a tool with a seal of shit on it. Now, of course, I'm not nasty like that, not an actual piece of shit, but it'll be a piece of shit emoji sculpted in his honor and send it to him in a nice frame that he can put on his wall and that he can put on his desk. Because since he's worked so hard for this certificate, since he's worked so hard for this certification, he should proudly display it everywhere. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, then give me a thumbs down. We gotta figure this out. How much money is behaving like this worth? What's the tangible value that you get out of carrying yourself like this? Now, the reason why I titled this question here is because if you ask me, the blame doesn't just go to Mark Robinson. My question is, why doesn't the GOP condemn individuals like this? Because you can't be part of a party, right? And sit there and say, well, it's about the content of your character and not the color of your skin. And then turn around and say that Martin Luther King was an inferior, mediocre preacher because he was preaching when he said that. You can't be a benefactor of the accomplishments that Martin Luther King made and say that he's inferior and you haven't done anything on your own to surpass what he's done. So now my question is, why don't the white GOP counterparts ever critique the black GOP counterparts? Though those white GOP counterparts did critique the black ones when some of them had the guts to speak up against Ron DeSantis last year. I saw that critique happen. But the critique never happens the other way around. It's the same way where if black people bring up racism or race or issues that we have, instead of addressing the issue that was brought up, everybody's head spins around like the poltergeist and pea soup starts coming out of their mouth. And once they've gotten finished regurgitating, then they ask the question, why are you bringing race into it? But Tucker Carlson, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Joe Rogan, Vivek Ramaswamy, Officer Tatum, when any of these people bring up race, have you ever heard anybody come out the gate and tell them, hey, stop playing the race card? You guys ever seen anything like that? I know I know that I'm not the only one that hasn't seen that. And what I think we need to do is I think that we need to put the question out there and figure out why. Why? Where are the GOP individuals who actually posted things that weren't defamatory about Martin Luther King to correct their counterpart? Same place as Jimmy Hoffa. Nobody knows. You know what I'm saying? Martin Luther King Jr. was just an ersatz pastor and a communist. And the 1960s civil rights movement was crap. According to a series of Facebook posts by Mark Robinson, the leading Republican candidate to be North Carolina's next governor. Now, if you truly believe this, why would you expect any of those white people to vote for you? If Mark Robinson truly believes this and he comes out and professes this, why would any of those white people in North Carolina vote for him? Shout out to Crew Reality. What's good with it, bro? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to each and every one of you all. I appreciate each and every one of you all. If you guys have not smashed that like button, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit that bell, make sure you guys hit that bell and share the stream to your social media. And if you guys are sharing it on Twitter, make sure you tag this clown with the share. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Wallow J. Shout out to Wallow J. Wallow J says, trust me, he ain't getting it. I'm here in North Carolina. These white people are racist AF down there. And my thing is, right, by him saying this stuff, he's attempting to legitimize their racism. So now if he legitimizes their racism, what makes him different than any other black person? They're not going to vote for him. You know what I'm saying? Now, what's even more fascinating is that knowing that there's somebody in existence like this, people like Mark Dice, Tucker Carlson, all of these clowns out here, they can still sit there and form their face and say, oh, he's black, and they call him a white supremacist. If you don't get it, you just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Just because you don't get it doesn't mean it ain't real. Just because you get it doesn't mean that we care that you don't get it. What I want to know is, why is it that when Fox News, right? Do y'all remember when Fox News, Laura Ingraham, interviewed that black conservative, and that black conservative said that one of his focuses was to improve and create more black businesses? That caused an argument between him and Laura Ingraham. And she cut the interview short. How many people saw that interview? If you guys saw that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't see that, give me a thumbs down. Now, that black conservative said something that was interesting to me. That's something that, if you want black people watching your show, That would have been an interview that probably would have actually brought black people who don't absolutely hate you to watch the platform. But Laura Ingraham, made the choice to cut that interview short. My question is why? So that particular black conservative that was on there that time, he wasn't sounding like this guy here. He wasn't sounding like Larry Elder. He wasn't sounding like Candace Owens. So again, this is the question that we got to ask. Is there unwritten behavior codes and parameters that black conservatives must abide by, that they must submit to in order to be approved and qualify? It seems like that's what's going on. Shout out to OG Patrice and shout out to John Guillory. Shout out to DSB. What's good with it, bro? This guy wants to be North Carolina's next governor. And he's coming out the gate to attempt to slander MLK. Slander MLK, not critique MLK. I've critiqued MLK. But I wouldn't slander him or try to take away from his accomplishments, because whether I got critiques or not, I haven't done anything anywhere near monumental as Martin Luther King. Regardless of whether people think that he went all the way, whether people think that, he made some mistakes, none of that matters. What matters is what he did. And what he did was change the country in a way that made it slightly more livable for us. So much to the point that there's been so few significant Americans like Martin Luther King, so few significant Americans, so many average and below average Americans, that amongst a population of people who believe themselves to be superior intelligence, Martin Luther King improved their alleged society/civilization. Martin Luther King was such a significant historical figure in comparison to all of these mediocre ones that he's immortalized all over the place. Monuments, federal holidays. He's immortalized to the point where everybody feels so inadequate because of such a lack of contribution to the American culture on their part that they all have to try to attach to Martin Luther King and take a little piece of Martin Luther King for themselves. It's quite sick, actually. Why don't you just do something and contribute? You got AOC quoting Martin Luther King. Everybody, all the anti-reparations people like Bernie Sanders, they all marched with Martin Luther King. They all marched with him. Bernie Sanders said he got up out of his bed and put on some Bengay on his knees, some Asper cream so that they didn't crack in half with his old arthritic ass, and said that he marched with Martin Luther King. Joe Biden said that he was a part of the civil rights movement. Now, I respect people like Edward Snowden, who, released information that the government would never have released to give us insights about things that we suspected that can be confirmed with some of those information releases. But if it wasn't for Martin Luther King, this clown right here wouldn't even be able to have the free speech to be in the same room and pander to those people that he's trying to pander to. And his parents were sharecroppers, man. This dude is a actual traceable back descendant of slaves. Now, yet again, we got to bring it back to the title. If you take a hammer and hit somebody in the head with it, is the hammer responsible? If you take a baseball bat and rearrange somebody's kneecap, is the baseball bat responsible? When a tool is used, does the tool control and determine the outcome of the action that is being used for? That's my question for you guys. I need to know that answer. We all need to know that answer. We all need to have a discussion about that answer. Do screwdrivers unscrew screws themselves? Do hammers nail nails themselves? Shout out to Catsy. Catsy says no. It's the person behind the tool. If you guys agree with Catsy, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, then give me a thumbs down. Do the tools make a choice in when they're used or not? Does a hammer tell you, you can use me right now? Have you ever went to pick up your hammer and the hammer said, wait a minute, I'm busy. You need to come back in about 5 or 10 minutes. Has the hammer ever done that to you? Has a screwdriver ever done that to you? In my personal experience, it's never happened to me. Oh, shout out to the sports and political channel of LB. The sport and political channel of LB says those are inanimate objects that take on the personality of the individual. Now, how do we deal with the tool if the tool is a human? Because the human tool has some different attributes than an inanimate tool. See, the human should have enough brains to know better, right? That would be the assumption. Would you guys agree? That would be the assumption. But in many cases, we don't see that acted out. Like in this case here, we don't see that acted out. So, on the charge of being a tool for Mark Robinson, who's responsible for his tomfoolery? That's my question for you guys. I need y'all to let me know. Who's responsible? Him, his handlers, or both? Now, if both are responsible, I don't know if I would really call him a tool. I would call him an assistant. I would call him a helper. Because he knows what he's doing. A hammer doesn't know what it's doing. A screwdriver doesn't know what it's doing. But he does. And he made the choice to do what he did. Facts. Absolutely, Torian. Facts. If you guys agree with Torian, give me a thumbs up. If you disagree, give me a thumbs down. No one held a tool to his head and forced him to be a tool. Facts. Shout out to Shamika Gray. Useful idiots is what I call them. Yeah. Oh, shout out to the child of the sun. An accomplice. Young Buck is my accomplice. Shout out to Twister, the adrenaline rush. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I agree. I agree 100%. This dude wants to be governor. Now, here's my question. Do you all ask yourself this question ever? Do people who are WS, people who partake in the WS religion, who get all of these tools and sambos auditioning for them, do you ever think that they sit back and say, this person doesn't even have loyalty to his own identifiable group of people? What happens when we fall out of favor or when we become a group that's not able to exert the influence? Is this person going to turn on us and try to get with the group that has the most influence, like how they're doing with us? I think that they ask that question. And if they don't, that's their dumbass fault, because I definitely would. Oh, I see how you moving. You like hanging around winners, but you don't like winning yourself. Bet. You won't be hanging around with me feeding off of my benefiting from off of anything that I've done. And I think that might be one of the motivations or one of the driving factors behind why they tend to break the tools, because it's like a wash. Who wants to have that kind of disloyalty around you? What these people, these tools, these Sambos, what they really don't understand is that nobody has respect for them. The people that they audition for don't have respect for them, because why would they? And we absolutely have no respect for them. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to my man Lloyd Sky 9 with the $5 super chat. Definitely appreciate it. First stream sponsor. Make sure you guys show him some love. Throw some radiation emoji and flames in the chat. Lloyd Sky 9 says, sending support for all this great content. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. Oh, I got some more great content coming too. Where Mac 25? Oh, I forgot we renamed him. Mac 45. Mac 45, where you at? So now here says Robinson, who is currently the state's lieutenant governor, regularly criticized King and the civil rights movement for years on Facebook, specifically on MLK Day. HuffPost found, amid a review of his post, the black politician also downplayed slavery, rejected the idea that he's part of the African American community, and attacked the late congressman and civil rights icon John Lewis. Now, as far as attacking John Lewis goes, but these other things are interesting. So now here it says these posts are surfacing at a time when Robinson, who is on track to be the GOP nominee for governor in November, has been trying to soften his rhetoric and celebrate King and the civil rights movement. So again, this shows that he doesn't stand on anything. You think that King sucks so bad? Keep saying that King sucks so bad. Win the election on MLK sucks so bad. Why are you changing your rhetoric? That's flimsy. Nobody respects flimsy, but you're doing it anyway. That's the reason why people don't respect people like this. Oh, let me change this up a little bit. Shout out to Torian. I didn't know about this. Torian said this is the same guy who went on a tirade on a whole bunch of women out of the blue for no reason at all, except to sound like a red pillar. Unbelievable. Last month, former President Donald Trump hailed Robinson as, look at this, Donald Trump, all right, so this is your boy Donald Trump, hailed Robinson as better than Dr. Martin Luther King at a campaign event. And Robinson responded by saying he took it as a compliment, and knowing what I know about him and the history thereof, you know those are big shoes to fill. Really? So now here's my question. When it comes to Mark Robinson, what do you believe? What do you trust? This guy's all over the place saying any and everything. This dude is an inconsistent, poop emoji shaped, button up tarp wearing clown. Why would anybody sign this individual's birth certificate? I sure as hell wouldn't. I didn't know. I don't know what. I don't. Nope. You are not the father. His social media posts tell a different story. In January of 2018, Robinson mocked people who celebrate King and said he was just a subpar pastor. He didn't mention King by name, but he was clearly talking about the civil rights leader in his series of messages posted on MLK Day that year. It is at once funny and sad that so many people will follow the lead of a bunch of atheists and worship an ersatz pastor as a deity, he wrote in one post. So who's doing that? Shout out to my man KO Kid Fit. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to KO Kid Fit, man. As KO Kid Fit would say, homeboy right here, he tooting it up for the GOP. He tooting it up for them bigots in North Carolina. Tooting it up like a marching band. You know what I'm saying? Tooting it up like the Saints go marching in. Ought to be ashamed of yourself. So now here it says Robinson also used MLK Day to dismiss the idea that racism is real. So Robinson doesn't believe that racism is real. It's not real. Now, the very people that say that racism is not real will be the first people to take a TikTok video that somebody made about white people and say, look at this rising anti-white sentiment. How many rules have been put in place to restrict white people's upward mobility? I need people to let me know about that. Can anybody name me the law that has been put in place that specifically targets the upward mobility of white people? And can you let me know the majority black government that created and enforces it? These people are so fragile, they get triggered by your boy singing that "Kill the Boar" song. He kill the boar, rat-a-tat-tat. Kill the boar, rat-a-tat-tat. You got Twitter going crazy, and he ain't even talking about people in the United States. Homeboy in South Africa sounded like Buster Rhymes. Woo-ha! Kill the boars. Next. Hey, 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 hey. All the boys in South Africa go away, way. Oh, man. Oh, they're going crazy on Twitter. Oh, my God. Sounding like Chris Tucker on Money Talks. Cold! Colder than a motherfucker! Really? Suck it up, Buttercup. Now, nobody ever denies that anti-white racism is real, which is hilarious. It's a joke. You can make millions of dollars in stand-up money if you decided to try to convince people of this anti-white racism. Right? There's literally laws on the books, literally some sundown towns, literally places on the map called Dead Negro Bridge, Dead Negro Holler, all these different places. Racism doesn't exist. The documents exist that support racism exists. Not only do the documents exist that support racism exists, the documents exist support that past racism exists, current racism exists, and they're in the process of creating systems and infrastructure to enforce future racism to exist. But this dude right here says that it's not real. The state of race relations exists chiefly within your own mind, he said. How so? Go ask a black person that works at a nursing home with a bunch of old white people if that's true or not. And then go ask those black people that work at a nursing home with a bunch of old white people if that's true after they went and told the management about what the old black white people are saying about them and how they're treating them. But it only exists in your mind. You know what's crazy? Literally every single thing that any human being perceives literally only exists in your mind. Let me ask you guys this question. How many people could survive without a brain and without a functional mind? How many people could process senses and feelings? Neurosynapses transmitted to your brain, which is your mind. What in your human existence can you perceive or process absent of your mind? Shout out to Mel. What's good with it? You have to process literally every single phenomenon that you can possibly experience occurs inside of your mind. If you don't have access to your mind, what do people say? You're out of your mind. That means that you're either crazy or in some type of coma. So now here says these posts came exactly 1 year after Robinson wrote that he planned to work on MLK Day, a federal holiday, to show that he wasn't a leech on society and allowing the government to cut him a break. So working on a federal holiday that the United States government deemed for everybody to take off makes you a leech? No, listen, I'm going to tell you what makes Mark Robinson a leech. What makes Mark Robinson a leech is that he crawls on his belly and leaves a trail of mucus behind and sucks on whatever he can to feed. That's what makes him a leech. He's a suckhead, like what Blade called Deacon Frost. That's what makes him a leech. See, those are the things that make people leeches. Or those are the things that make an organism a leech. Not because you decided to take a federally mandated holiday off. Now, as far as him being a leech goes, I don't know if you've seen how this dude is built, but he's definitely one of those people that when he gets done eating, his big greedy ass goes and gets 2 pieces of bread and smushes them down on his plate to soak up every last bit of juice and gravy on the plate, and first wipes the plate down like he's cleaning it with the piece of bread and then eats it. This big ass bum talking about he's not lazy. So now here it says, tomorrow I will do my service to the community by going to work and continuing to support myself and my family so that I'm not a leech on said community. Robinson posted on January 16th of 2017. So that makes you a leech. So you're not contributing to your community if you stayed at home and taught your kids the significance of Martin Luther King Day and how Martin Luther King and his contributions to society helped to make it where you can be a human leech and leave behind a trail of mucus in the white section. Yeah, facts, Mel. Just sopping it up. So, squeezing the damn bread like it's a damn face cloth, like he in the shower, and just gravy dripping out of the bread, soaking it up like it's them. Squeezed it together and turned it into a damn pretzel stick, sopping it up on his damn plate. Torian said, "Have you ever heard this man talk? He sounds like a Fox villain." Nah, I ain't never. Thank God, I never heard him talk before. I've never heard him talk before. Shout out to Win Loser Rug. Win Loser Rug said, "Why is it always the fat guys? It's always some old Wilson Fisk kingpin built motherfucker." Y'all remember that picture of Big Pun and Fat Joe where they was standing there looking like 2 video game bosses? And they and Fat Joe was sitting there for real in the gray kingpin suit. Y'all remember that? This motherfucker looked like Fat Joe's negative from back in the 90s. Somebody took a damn Polaroid picture of Fat Joe and took it to the damn dark room. You know what I'm saying? It'll look just like Fat Joe. It's the negative of Fat Joe. The Deep Cover Twins in 1998. So he also wrote on Martin Luther King Day that year, "I don't like communists, quote unquote, no matter what color they are." The North Carolina Republican later admitted in his 2022 book that, quote unquote, "we are the majority," that he had been calling King a communist. In December of 2007, when I joined Facebook, he wrote on pages 156 to 157, "Every political thought in my head I put up there, up into and including my posting photos of Martin Luther King calling him a communist." Officials with Robinson's campaign and in his official government office did not respond to requests for comment of this story. Why not? Robinson hasn't limited his Facebook criticisms to King on MLK Day. I wouldn't call these criticisms. These aren't criticisms. This is just flat out disrespect. Shamika said, "Where's the picture? Which picture? The picture of Big Pun and Fat Joe sitting up there looking like 2 video game bosses?" They literally look like they at the end of they literally look like they at the end of one of the levels on Double Dragon, just sitting behind one of them broke down buildings waiting for you. Here they go right here. It's 2. Look, hold on. It's 2 pictures, man. These they look like some video game bosses. Good God, they look like some damn video game bosses. Hold on real quick. It's a couple. We about to go through all of these. And then we're gonna get back to it. All right, here go the first one. This one is actually pixelated. This one actually looks like an actual video game. The caption for this picture is, "Are they related?" The question for this pixel or for this picture should be, who fitted them for these outfits? Tecmo or Activision? Now, Fat Joe, know his ass is standing there looking like the Kingpin. He wearing that button up. Remember I was telling y'all about them button up tarps with a collar on it? The same shit that Mark Robinson big ass is wearing. There you go, right there. That's one of those stylish men's big and tall tarps. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy when you all of 4'11" and you that damn big. he is an actual he's not he's not from the block, he is the block. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Kid Gravity. Look at this. Again, looking like some video game villains. Look like if you run into Fat Joe, he'd just stick his chest out and bounce you all the way back into the wall. If you fighting him on the roof, it's a wrap. That's be the part of the video game that you be upset about. Right when you about to beat the boss, here come Fat Joe with this cheating shit and belly bounce you off the building. And you're not allowed to fall off the building, because if you fall off the building, they're going to start you over again. And then he's sitting up there laughing, walking backwards, talking about with the numbers on the screen. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Oh man, this shit crazy, man. Who made this video game? Didn't they have a Def Jam video game? They should have definitely had Big Pun and Fat Joe in there looking like this. Yeah, looking like a Bobo. Who remember a Bobo ball-headed ass from Double Dragon? Hey, these motherfuckers look like them square people from River City Ransom. Whoever played that game River City Ransom for Nintendo? Hold on real quick. Y'all ever played that game? River City Ransom? I know they got some screenshots online somewhere. Let me see. Hold on. River City Ransom screenplay. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Here we go, right here. Got your boy sounding like Charleston White with the yeah. Let me see. I gotta find a good picture because this is kind of what's crazy about this. This shit look like DoorDash. Look at this. Or not DoorDash, Diner Dash. I said DoorDash. Toria said Big Pun was never that big when he first came to the scene. Bro, that's what money would do to you. That Big Pun was, if you got fat while we starved, was a person. You know what I'm saying? Look at this. Square-headed ass 8-bit characters. Crosstown High School. Man, that's crazy. Y'all never, who played this game? River, okay, yeah, y'all played River City Ransom. Yeah, this used to be my game, though. All right, hold on. We about to get through these Big Pun and Fat Joe pictures real quick. I think we did that one. Hold on. Here they go again. Here go LL Cool J hat version Fat Big Pun. And Fat Joe still sitting up there looking like a Bobo, looking like Wilson Fisk. Oh man, they got the church outfits on. Crazy, man. Crazy. Hold on, let me see if we got one more. Okay, yeah, that's it. All right, cool. All right, we about to go back. Hold on real quick. Shout out to Carla. What's good with it, Carla? I was gonna talk shit about RFK's voice earlier, Carla, but I didn't because of you. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want you to get upset. So now here it says Robinson hasn't limited his Facebook criticisms to King on MLK Day. That same day in 2017, he attacked Lewis, who nearly lost his life fighting for voting rights. On March 7th, in 1965, Alabama police officers gassed and brutally beat Lewis and hundreds of other quote-unquote peaceful protesters on the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma. That day, now known as Bloody Sunday, left Lewis with a fractured skull. Now, look at this. This is what he said, right? Now, even though, I'm not a fan of John Lewis's performance in the government, you're not really going to catch me like coming at John Lewis like this. Hey, John Lewis, just because you got beat up by some, and then of course he says Democrats, he don't say white people. It wasn't no black Democrats that was beating him up. Did Barack Obama whoop his ass back then? In 1965 doesn't mean you can't get criticized by some Republicans in 2017. I don't think John Lewis ever said that Republicans can't criticize him. Shout out to Black Star Racer and shout out to Mr. King. What's good with y'all? So now here it says, that same day, Robinson posted that actual real-life slavery isn't as bad as slavery of the mind, which is Satan's greatest tool. It doesn't matter what's not as bad. From what I've heard, I've never experienced this, getting shot is not as bad as getting stabbed 120 times. I just got this feeling that no one wants either of those. So why would you compare something completely idiotic like that? Oh, that's why. Because you're an idiot, and idiots do idiotic things. Slavery of the mind is far worse than physical slavery, which is interesting, right? Because slavery is literally only one of the things that was done. Because a particular group of people is so violent by nature, the only thing that they talk about when it comes to the segregation days and slavery and all of that is the slavery. Do you guys notice how white people never talk about sundown towns? Never talk about black codes? Never talk about Jim Crow? All they talk about is what resonates with them. The brutality of slavery. Remember, Izzy said that violence is the love language. It almost seems like only violence registers. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says slavery of the mind cannot be seen, cannot be made illegal, and is always the greatest tool of Satan to be used against man and men against each other. Now he's talking about slavery. And what I find interesting is that the devil is always depicted as red. Some people can be red. You know what I'm saying? I didn't make that up as far as the devil being red. I didn't come up with that. I just find that to be an interesting correlation. Slavery of the mind can absolutely be seen because we're looking at a mentally enslaved person right now. And slavery of the mind, despite the fact that it's difficult to prove or enforce it, things that can contribute to quote unquote mental slavery can be made illegal. Would you guys agree? They've tried to regulate propaganda. Then you got the government participating in MK Ultra, mind control. Then you got media, state sanctioned media, propaganda outlets. All of these things. You got the education system. All of those things are an effort to control people's minds. Very visible that everybody knows about. These aren't secrets. So now here it says the day before, Robinson also posted that he didn't care what Lewis did in the 60s because the problem was what Lewis is doing in the year 2017. In fact, in 2017, Lewis was calling Trump out for not being a legitimate president, citing Russia's interference in 2016 elections to help him win. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Was that ever proven that there was interference in the election to help Trump win? Or was that speculation? I thought that was speculation. I thought they proved that Russia only attempted to interfere. I didn't know if they had actually proven that Russia was successful. Let me know what y'all what y'all got on that. In May of 2017, Robinson posted on Facebook that the 1960s civil rights movement was crap and a communist effort. So now here's my question. What was better than the 1960s civil rights movement? And if he doesn't think that the civil rights movement wasn't any good, then why doesn't he live his life in a civil rights free fashion and show us how good life can be in 2024 without civil rights? But he should do that on his own. That's not a party that you need to invite everybody else to. That's how you feel. You feel so strongly about it. Stop being a victim. Stop being a victim. Who's making him exercise civil rights? Yeah, that's what I thought too, Mel. I was pretty sure that that was what was shown. Now, this is what, look at this post that he made. You hear people talk like this on YouTube all the time. All the time. You know what I'm saying? Mark Keith Robinson. African Americans don't realize that the real civil rights movement started in the 1860s. That crap in the 1960s was the communist rise movement. What civil rights act started in the 1860s? What civil rights act started in the 1860s? There's nothing for quote unquote African Americans to realize. And one reason why quote unquote African Americans probably don't realize that is because African Americans are immigrants who've come to the country from Africa, and they have their own respective history and may not be completely versed on Black American history. So, an African American like Elon Musk probably don't realize anything about the civil rights movement because they're ignorant to American culture. They have to learn about it. What parts they pick and choose that they want to learn about to help push their narrative forward. So now here it says that same month, in a particularly long post, he wrote that he doesn't consider himself a part of the African American community because this community murders its children and sucks from the putrid tit of the government, then complains about getting sour milk. So just so everybody's aware, the entire community does that, according to him. I think everybody should send him some thank you letters. And now, mind you, this clown probably tripped over his clown shoes wearing that muumuu with fresh powder on his face to go run in front of a crowd of white people to say this to. How many people are tired of the fact that anybody can just make up anything about Black people and say it, and it sticks for some odd reason, even if there's literally no facts substantiating it? Because what fact substantiates any of this nonsense that he says? This community murders its children. Are you serious? Now, if we're talking about a community that actually murders its children, you might want to start looking up familicide rates because them folks is actually murdering their children. You know what I mean? There's an actual familicide issue with certain communities, and it ain't ours. So now here says, going back further on Facebook, Robinson wrote in 2015 that the civil rights movement was never about giving rights to people, but about setting the stage to take people's rights away. The year before that, he wrote that the racial integration was never about freedom, but about destroying black people and the bondage of their minds. Robinson is already known for his wildly offensive comment about women, LGBTQ people, and Muslims, in addition to fueling bonkers conspiracy theories. The reason he's still the Republican frontrunner for governor is because he's modeled himself after Trump. So here's another individual that has put himself in the Trump mold. You know, shout out to Win Loser Rug. Win Loser Rug said, I wonder who is challenging him and who is agreeing with him in the state. Very interested to see what his actual engagements are like. Now, I bet you y'all know who is engaging him. Who y'all think is engaging him? Now, mind you, right? This is one of the reasons why I always ask this question. How many times do people hear people say the same shit over and over again? Black feminism tricked black women. Feminism fooled black women. How many times do you hear that? Now, me personally, I'm not of the belief that anybody was tricked because I don't believe that we get tricked that easy. That's a pro-black coon talking point. We so dumb we get tricked by anything. If you put the blanket on the table and put the bread under the table and tell somebody to spin around 3 times and we take the bread out from under it, they won't even know what the hell happened because we just so dumb. Yeah, that's one of them pro-black coon talking points. When you listen to them pro-blacks and they start to sound a little bit too much like Jared Taylor or Richard Spencer. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe motherfuckers got tricked about a goddamn thing. I believe people made a decision based on the available data, and things may or may not have worked out the way that they worked out. It just is what it is. We just where we at today. You know what I'm saying? But there does exist a chance that people may have been tricked, right? They may have used skewed and dishonest information, deceitful tactics, right? I definitely agree that that took place. You know what I'm saying? And I can sympathize with that. But now, if people are going to throw out this feminism tricked black women, and it's arguable that that's true, right? When are we going to acknowledge how conservatism is trying to trick black men and is looking successful? And when I say conservatism, I'm talking about white conservatism, like shit like what this motherfucker right here is doing. Jason Whitlock and shit like that. When are we going to address that? There's a lot of people that have actually been tricked into believing that they're conservative. You saw how conservative they considered Vivek Ramaswamy. They sent his ashy ankle ass back to Cincinnati with a L. Because let's not forget. Let's not just don't forget. Vivek Ramaswamy gets ashy just like us. I'm gonna make a shirt that says, "My name is Vivek Ramaswamy and I'm ashy." Oh, I bet you he'd be so mad if he ever saw that shit. Yo, homeboy, you ashy. You get ashy, bro. And you know what that means. I'm gonna ask y'all this question. What do that mean if you get ashy? Shout out to Torian. Torian said the only time Mark pops up is when he says stuff like this. Otherwise, he is not in anyone's lexicon. Facts. Now, this is what's funny. Do you guys think that he realizes that? These people loves me so much. The only time they love you so much is when you say something about black people, idiot. You don't notice that literally nobody cares when you say anything else? You could be in the middle of the park drowning, yelling help. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Retro said Vivek went from classy to ashy. Vivek went from ashy to more ashy. Oh man. Vivek went from ashy to more ashy. Oh man, he mad as hell about that shit too, man. That's a shameful motherfucker, man. You really that mad that you get ashy, bro? The ash, the ash has damaged your mind to the point that you can't stand black people. We didn't make you ashy, homie. How come you didn't come? How come you didn't create some type of anti-ash supplement at your biomedical company, genius? Fucking idiot. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Robinson is already known for his wildly offensive comments. We already read this. We got to the point. This is how we got on talking about Vivek, because he's another non-white man that's modeled himself after Trump. A strategy that some North Carolina political analysts predict will fail for him in the general election in the swing state. Now, why would political analysts predict that being a Trump clone will fail? I don't know. Maybe because they seen what happened with Ron DeSantis and seen what happened with Vivek Ramaswamy. Now, what makes your funny face looking ass think that you're gonna do something different than they did? Because you're not. I don't know who had this candid camera right here with this picture of him doing the shit growl, but good shot. This is a picture of him in the heat of the moment trying to squeeze a shark out without nobody noticing it. That's a picture of that right there. It's ridiculous. This dude is a ridiculous human being. You know what I'm saying? So they saved this picture of him trying to sneak a shard out right at the end. So we got some other stuff that we got to look at real quick. We got to look at what Martin Luther King's son said. Now, I don't know if anybody was aware of this, but go put your capes on, because we got to go save democracy. Aren't you guys thrilled? How many times we going to have to save democracy for the shit stay intact? I'm not saving democracy no damn more. Next time democracy is threatened, I'm about to come in as a tyrant. I'm running shit from here on out. Shout out to JB Easy. What's good with it? Win Loser Rug said, who naturally does their face like that? Somebody that has a giant liquid-filled gas bubble tickling their diaphragm. That's who. That's who. He is making the face that tells me that he may have a giant, juicy cabbage bubble sitting on his diaphragm that's trying desperately to escape. It's trying desperately to escape. That shit trying to come out, and he's trying to hold it up. He's trying to keep it in there. You know what I'm saying? Up top, and that shit trying to force his way out. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with you? You sitting up there sounding like a motorcycle starting up. Oh man, you sit up there sounding like a motorcycle starting up. What's your name? Harley? Harley Davidson? Nah. You know what I'm saying? My name is you know. My name is Sambo Robinson. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay. That's what's up. So now MLK's son issues a warning that we need to save democracy. You better go call the Avengers or something. On this year's Martin Luther King Day, the oldest son of prominent civil rights figure Martin Luther King III and his wife, Andrea Waters King, is urging leaders in Congress to, quote unquote, rein in the Supreme Court to save democracy. A minister and an activist, Martin Luther King Jr. was the leader of the American Civil Rights Movement starting in 1955 until his assassination in 1965. King served as a minister until his leadership of the 1955 Montgomery bus boycott made King a national figure in the civil rights movement. He led a number of protests that after that include the Albany movement, the Birmingham campaign, the March on Washington, the Selma voting rights movement in 1965. King's oldest son, King III, has followed in his late father's footsteps as a civil rights activist, global humanitarian, and political leader who has worked to advocate for social justice and change. Now, here go my question for y'all. Charlie Kirk is sitting up there talking about Martin Luther King is getting worshipped like a deity. Do it sound like Martin Luther King is getting worshipped like a deity? Where did they say pray to Martin Luther King? You got something going on? Pray to Martin Luther King. He'll make it better. Literally, nobody is out here praying to Martin Luther King, and no one is encouraging that either. But if you listen to these psychos, they'll have you actually believing that there's some cult out there encouraging people to pray to Martin Luther King. Now, again, this is according to Charlie Kirk. Oh, shout out to Mac25. I see he commented. He commented on my other video. Wait for him to come over here. He really's not gonna like what's coming later. He's really not gonna like what's coming later. But I told you, man, stop fucking with me. So now here says on Monday in an op-ed published by The Guardian, King III and his wife, Andrea, warned that while America prepares for a critical 2024 election, the Supreme Court is headed toward a darker path that impacts civil liberties with conservative justices. Now, here's my question. Do you all believe that? If you guys believe that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't believe that, then give me a thumbs down. Now, again, what this is a coded dog whistle to attempt to try to push black people into just voting blue no matter who. Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said Mac shadow boxing in his mom's basement. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all a little secret. Mac 25 and Southpaw are the same person. And they are also the niggas for Trump account. All three of those are the same person. Just so y'all know. I'm saying. Just as long as we're all clear on that. So hopefully the mystery is over. The speculation is all gone, and everybody can rest easy. All three of those are the same person. It's also the same person as the Christian conservative. I don't know if people seen that account, different places on YouTube with the Confederate flag, the conservative Christian. All of those are the same person. It's just somebody that has fun, that's at the house playing on YouTube like it's a video game, trolling people. Some people do that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, just so y'all know, so y'all don't be, taking this shit too serious or worried about it. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, as MAGA supermajority, these justices have undone established rulings and legal norms in an attempt to reverse the progress of modern America and to quote unquote systemically unravel black political power. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you all agree with that take? If you guys agree with that take, then give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't agree with that take, then give me a thumbs down. I don't agree with that take. And if you ask me, this is fear mongering. Well, why is it fear mongering? Because let me ask you guys this. When affirmative action was struck down by these very judges, who had the biggest problem with it? The very people who were leading the charge of getting it removed are now having second thoughts, and we haven't thought about it at all. Those people who said, we need to remove affirmative action. Oh, maybe we did wrong. Maybe, with your high IQ self. Maybe. But that's something that you can go figure out. Because you know what they say? If you broke it, you fix it. And guess what? You broke it, so you fix it. We, alongside United for Democracy. Now, who is United for Democracy? Let me ask you guys this question. Is United for Democracy a Democrat think tank? Somebody let me know. Are calling on leaders in Congress to rein in the Supreme Court. Congress must conduct immediate hearings, investigations, and reforms to fix the institution that is harming the Americans it is tasked to protect. Literally, nothing has ever been tasked to protect us. The civil rights movement missed the bullseye. It did provide some benefit, but the majority of the benefit that the civil rights movement provided did not go to us. It missed the mark. Now, as far as civil rights goes, right, the Democrats are using a civil rights amendment number 14, to attempt to remove Trump from those ballots in certain states. Now, let me ask, if they're so concerned about the civil rights legislation being utilized for those who the civil rights movement was created for, how is using the 14th Amendment to get Trump off of the ballot, how is that helping black people? Is that helping black people directly? Or is that helping Democrats? So now it says that Newsweek reached out to King III, United for Democracy, and the Supreme Court via email for comment. In the op-ed, King continues to stress that with the 2024 election, voter rights and black voters are essential to save democracy despite ongoing voter suppression. Listen, our votes are not being suppressed. When are people going to call this out as misinformation? How many people in the comment section have had their voting rights suppressed? If you are a victim of voting suppression, give me a thumbs up. If you're not a victim of voting suppression, give me a thumbs down. With the election right around the corner and in the face of endless attacks aimed at dismantling my father's legacy, Black voters will again be expected to save democracy, the op-ed states. No, we need to save ourselves. We don't need to save democracy for everyone else. It's more beneficial if we save ourselves or if we preserve a small amount of democracy that's enforceable for us and we let everybody else fall and crumble and take care of their own issues. We don't need to save anybody. We're barely surviving. We come first. It's not our responsibility to save the United States. The United States got a military for that. And if they worried about the United States and the democracy, that's what them Second Amendment white people are for. Let them deal with it. They got all the damn guns. We got other shit to do. We've never experienced democracy. I'm not really with not experiencing democracy and preserving it for everybody else. I'm not with that. I'm not even happy with the fact that these people have the nerve to sit there and be comfortable and think that they can say something like this without having their reputation severely damaged. When people come and make bold statements like this, they need to be afraid to say this kind of nonsense, because that's all this is nonsense. There's literally literally nobody who should be feeling comfortable to just come out and say this kind of nonsense. I'm gonna just say this shit just to say it. Like, nah, bro, you're not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So now this article here is MLK III attempting to fearmonger Black people into running out and voting blue, no matter who, because of alleged voter suppression. So now here it says, as our communities again prepare to out-organize voter suppression, we need those vying for votes to show that on the other side of the victory speeches, they are committed to building a democracy that no longer needs saving, a democracy that reflects Dr. Martin Luther King's vision. That means restoring integrity to the Supreme Court, the op-ed adds. This comes as voting measures continue to take hits across the country. Now, let me ask you guys this. What voting measures have taken hits across the country? What is stopping us from voting? The only thing that's stopping us from voting is the fact that there's nothing but a bunch of incompetent anti-Black politicians who are our choices, and the people that choose not to vote have said, we ain't doing it. That's the only thing stopping anybody from voting. Why are they trying to get people to rush out and vote for something that's not even going on? Who has less ability out of everybody in this live stream? If you have less ability now to vote than you did in the last election, give me a thumbs up. If that's not true and you don't, then give me a thumbs down. Now, my question for everybody would be, why are they saying this then? Yeah, I gotta agree. I gotta agree with Torian. And shout out to Carla for being a bot enforcer. I appreciate it. Torian said it's a fear tactic and they use it on a certain sector of Black people, usually the older crowd. Republican Blaise Ingogla is pushing a Senate bill that reduces the eligibility of voters able to mail in their ballots by imposing a strict set of conditions. Well, what this sounds like to me is that they're trying to stop mail-in ballots. Doesn't seem to me that they're stopping people from voting. The move has been controversial across the state and the wider United States, with critics arguing that it could amount to voter suppression or an attempt to influence electoral outcomes. But supporters argue that it would tighten up electoral security and protect the democratic process. This comes as criticisms over voting measures have ramped up since Donald Trump, the frontrunner for the 2024 GOP presidential nomination, was indicted on 4 counts in August by the Department of Justice in relation to attempting to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election that led to the U.S. Capitol riot on January 6th of 2021. The former president claimed that the election was stolen from him via widespread voter fraud. Trump has pled not guilty and says that the case against him is politically motivated. And since MLK 45 want to keep talking about how we talk about Trump or how we bring up Trump, if you are not subscribed to the channel called Magatron 645, I would advise you to subscribe to that channel, because that channel is going to be content from our perspective specifically about Trump, because I'm just that petty. You know what I'm saying? I'm just that petty. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comment section what you all think. If you have not smashed that like button yet, smash that like button. If you haven't joined the Discord yet, join the Discord. If you haven't subscribed to all of my backup channels yet, subscribe to the backup channels. Make sure you guys show my man Lloyd Sky 9 love. I definitely appreciate the $5 super chat. Make sure you guys throw some radiation emoji in the chat and some flames in the chat for him. I will try to be back with some more content later. I don't know if I'll be able to or not. Make sure you got the alerts hit. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,
walk up in the life. Yeah, I'm really talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up, look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him. Don't believe me? Come and see me. Got 3 wishes from my genie. Now I'm on your local TV. Y'all on tour, got demons. Say she wanna come and see me when I'm in a local city. I'm like, pause though. Please step aside so they can see me. And I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. I'm the realest from my city. That's on money, that's on Kiwi, that's on mamas. Niggas don't believe me, come and see me. I been dodging all that fake. All these niggas working broke, but I been getting paid. All that know me from the street. Action for what feature? That's like every other week. Talk. Behind my back, I kick my feet up, have a seat. Cause at the end of the day, all these watching me as I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like